Hello, friends. Welcome to playing tribute to Ace Attorney Investigations 2, the fan translation of Ace Attorney Investigations sequel, which has been translated to have the title Prosecutor's Path, as you can see here on the screen. I have only played through this game once. I am not nearly as familiar with it as I am with the other games of the series, especially the other games that I've posted or the games I will post in the future. And hopefully, I guess I'm not as familiar with the more recent games either, but hopefully I will be able to post those too, because I want to eventually be able to post this whole series on the 3DS anyway, not the recent translations of the Switch, the Switch games that were the recent releases of what I thought was going to be Japanese only in the Origin's not the right word, like past prequel thing. I definitely encourage and recommend that series of games if you have the Nintendo Switch, or finding it to watch it be played. But they're a lot of fun. They have a version of Sherlock Holmes, so to speak, in it. So it's all Victorian England and that era of Japan as well, which is part of the reason why I think that it's weird that this game is like, oh yeah, we're in America or whatever. It's like that game still takes place in Japan, very obviously. So why couldn't it just be in Japan? But anyway, that's a whole other conversation there. So we have the sequel here to Ace Attorney Investigations, and I have only played this once, years ago when it came out, so I don't really remember a lot of it. I barely remember the characters that are down below. Like, I recognize I absolutely know, well, we all absolutely know two of them. I absolutely know one of them. I somewhat recognize one of them, and another of them I saw a image of that person, and that's the only reason I recognize that silhouette. I honestly don't remember that person at all. So we'll see how well I do here. But yeah, continuing on, sharing this series with you, and going on chronologically to what's happening here. But this is not on my DS, this is on my computer, so it's going to be a little awkward. I might have to configure some controls. But in the meanwhile, we might as well get started and jump right into a new game. Looks like our first case is Turnabout Target. There it is! We can see it! It's the Emissary of Peace from the East! The President's private plane is arriving at Gourd Lake! Hey, we know Gourd Lake. Can you hear it? The cheers of the crowd! Welcome, Zhengfa Republic! Welcome, Mr. President! Mr. President, this way, please! Your audience awaits! We know Zhengfa from the last game. That's where Agent Lang came from. My dear friends, there's a reason for my visit. A few days ago, a smuggling ring that has long plagued my nation was exposed and crushed. This was possible thanks to your country's prosecutor's office. Uh-oh. From the bottom of my heart, I convey unto them my utmost gratitude. However, the battle is still not over. I declare here and now, the hammer of justice shall be brought down upon all evil. Eek! Hurry! Contact the prosecutor's office. We need that man! Miles Edgeworth. If there's anyone who can solve this case, it's him! Wow. Oh, it's so epic. know what? I'm gonna configure a little bit of stuff here. Apologies. I'm gonna make space my A button. And my B button, I'm gonna make C. I think that should be fine. So then I can do this. Yes, there he goes. Word of this must have reached every corner of the world by now. An assassination attempt on the President of the Republic of Zhengfa. My name is Miles Edgeworth. I am a prosecutor. I was asked to investigate this grave incident, but upon my arrival... Mr. Edgeworth! You're looking good, Detective. Is that a new, jacket? We've been waiting for you, sir. This man is Dick Gumshoe. He's a detective with the local precinct who assists me on all cases under my jurisdiction. Wow, I cannot speak today. What's the President's current condition? I'm still not sure, sir. The paramedics just entered this plane a few moments ago. I see. Perhaps nothing too serious. Very well, Detective. Please show me around the crime scene. Roger that, sir. Hey, mister! Just a minute, I'm begging you! What's this? Mister! You're the prosecutor in charge around these parts, right? Can I ask you a little something real quick? I'm afraid I must refrain from commenting for now. Let's go, Detective. Hey, wait! Mr. Prosecutor! Hold on, Mr. Edgeworth. Wait for me, sir. Interesting, they already want the scoop. Now then, Detective. Care to fill me in on the details? He really does look like he has a different jacket on. Like, more brown. Wow, that is one tight-fitting suit. Also, I like his, like, look of a lion. Basically, the whole thing happened here at Gourd Lake Park. There's a big welcoming event for the President of the Republic of Zhengfa. President of Zhengfa, Dijun Huang. As I recall, newspapers and news programs were making quite a deal of his visit. Look at this information we have already. Advised for his visit, his plane lands on Gourd Lake today. It rained a bit, but it stopped just before his plane landed. He came out, and all of a sudden, in the middle of a speech, bang! A gunshot! At least, I think it was. You're a detective. You think? Truth is, I just got here as well, so I don't know all the details, sir. Oh. So you're also called here on short notice? Yep, and today was supposed to be my day off! And I was supposed to be at the High Prosecutor's office preparing a case for trial. Chief Prosecutor asked for you personally, sir. The Chief Prosecutor? Chief Prosecutor was taking part in the welcoming event. Apparently, the Chief called out right after the incident occurred. Call Prosecutor Edgeworth. He's the only one who can solve this case, he said. I see. So that's what happened. After the incident, we sealed off the park right away. Which means the assassin is still in the park. I'm already nervous. This is the first case of the game, though, so it's gonna be easier, but it's like starting a brand new game. An assassin in the crowd? This could get dangerous, sir. If there's another incident, these civilians could get in harm's way. But one of those civilians may be the... This is a race against time. Let's begin the investigation. First, we investigate the crime scene and gather some information. Precisely. Nice. Tutorial mode. So no mistaking it. The President was targeted with a gun. This is something I'll have to keep in mind. Detective Gumshoe. I don't know why I can't say detective. Detective Gumshoe. There you go. Where was security at the time of the gunfire? Police were only in charge of the guard in the park's perimeter. The President was being protected by his own personal bodyguards. It's those guys over there. Why don't you try talking to them, sir? I was planning to, actually. To talk to someone, press the A button while standing near them. Yes. I don't want to talk to them, though. I want to see what this is. Okay, fine. Fine, tutorial case. I'll talk to them. What do you want? You're the President's bodyguards, correct? What was the President's security detail like during the speech? The President has 2 best men by his side. The rest were stationed near the stage area. We are professionals. We constantly keep our eyes on the crowd, scanning for any signs of suspicious activity. I see. In other words, security was flawless during the President's speech. Let's keep going. We should talk to other people and examine anything suspicious, in order to collect the remaining pieces of information from the scene of the crime. I see, so that's how you round up your info. So what do you do with all that info after it's squared away? Someone in the crowd is making quite a ruckus, but I don't have time for that now. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor! Tell me how, please! After gathering some pieces of information, you try to find the connections between them. Detective. Hey now, don't be such a stick in the mud. What's it about finding connections? You connect the 2 pieces of information that share a link. That's what Mr. Edgeworth's specialty. It's called logic, pal. I don't want to right now. Fine. Gee, I wonder what 2 pieces are together. Okay, I'm making fun because it's the tutorial case. I want to investigate everything. Someone was able to fire a gun under flawless security, and they were able to avoid being spotted by professional bodyguards. This is no easy task. There had to be a certain amount of preparation beforehand. It's very likely that the President's assassination was premeditated crime. It's targeted during this likely. Okay. I expected nothing less from Mr. Edgeworth. What brilliant logic, sir. Yes, well, when you follow the facts and find a connection, you will begin to see the truth. However, if the information doesn't line up properly, I may stray further from the truth. But if I think carefully before piecing leads together, the logic should flow. Okay, now I can investigate. Okay, let's start by examining everything we can. To examine, I approach anything that looks suspicious. When to consult with Gumshoe, I press the Y button. Or I'm just gonna bop it with the touch screen. So in the later games with Phoenix Wright, there's like a logic. It's not logic. It's not connecting pieces, but there's like a brain zoom that happens where they like piece together the crime at the very end of the case, and it's like the big final puzzle. This is. Yeah, I was surprised too. No matter how you look at it, it's definitely the Steel Samurai. The Steel Samurai. The Steel Samurai, warrior of Neo Tokyo, hero from the popular TV program. Popular with both children and adults, it has broad appeal. Why would they use Steel Samurai balloon at the welcoming event, sir? Perhaps he was chosen as the hero to represent our country. Alright, let's see here. We got the... Poor Steel Samurai balloon. It looks so miserable. Indeed. What did it do to deserve such a fate? According to witnesses, a gunshot was heard when the balloon popped. Did a bullet from the gun hit the Steel Samurai balloon? Maybe it was an assassination attempt on the Steel Samurai. To desecrate the Steel Samurai like this. This is a serious crime. Detective, we must not let this reprehensible assassin get away with this. Of course, sir. I love how much of a fanboy Edgeworth is. I'll like deny it. Do you see that? Do you see that weird green thing? Is that part of the color of the flag? It's the flag of the Republic of Zenfar. Its symbol appears to be a phoenix motif. This is... What is it, sir? Haven't you noticed? There's an unusual spot on this flag. Compared to the flag on the opposite side of the stage. There isn't a speck of dirt on it. This flag is spotless, sir. Yes, that is what the flag is supposed to look like. However, there is one spot in this flag that is out of place. Where is it, sir? Please explain so I can understand. What help is the man? I suppose I should point it out to him. That's what I was looking at before. I just almost tried to use the touch screen on my keyboard of my computer. There's an unusual hole in this flag. Ah, you're right! Judging from the burn marks around the hole, it appears to be a bullet hole. A bullet hole? This bullet from the gun must have gone through the flag. Okay. I seem to have gathered a few pieces of pertinent information. Not calmly use some logic and figure out if any of them are connected to each other. Yeah, I mean, we will. Okay. Alright, oops. I thought I was pressing the down key, but I was not. Oh, hello. Because I'm gonna have to talk to you eventually, aren't I? The gun was fired during the president's speech. I remember when I had to give a speech in grade school. What an awful day. Right in the middle of my speech, an earthquake broke out and shook the classroom, sir. That really is awful. I don't do well with earthquakes myself. Are you listening to me? You're ignoring me, aren't you, sir? No, he actually was listening to him, which is, you know, shocking. Okay. Let's do this before I talk to, whatever that guy is. As a result of the gunshots, there's a bullet hole in a flag and a ruptured balloon. That must mean 2 shots were fired, sir. If we include the shot that hit the president, it's possible that 3 shots were fired total. Oh, I thought it just, like, went through the balloon and then went through the flag. No, it's also possible that the flag and the balloon were punctured by the same bullet. Oh, there we go. If only we could be certain of the number of gunshots. Oh, I can't talk to him. Now then, let's continue the investigation. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor! If you find anything new, could you please let me know? I've been wondering for a while now, but who exactly is that woman? Oh, that's a woman. Sorry. I thought she was just a nosy onlooker, but it looks like she's investigating too. Hey, please, I'm begging you! In order to figure out how many shots were fired, we'll need to talk to a witness. It can't be helped. Let's try talking to her. Oh, it is a woman. Ah, Mr. Prosecutor! The name's Nicole Swift. Just between you and me, this whole case is gonna be my exclusive scoop. She sounds a lot like Lotta. Exclusive. Miss Swift, is it? Could you tell me what you witnessed during... So, how's your investigation coming along? Who's interviewing you here? Y'all got a suspect yet? Where'd you get that frilly doohickey around your neck? Hold it! Could you please stop talking for a moment? I will be the one asking the questions. What's this, an interrogation? I reckon I was gonna get myself an interview. I'd like to know how many gunshots were fired. Can you please tell me what you saw? Well, I guess. I ain't telling you nothing. What? My life depends on info. I ain't giving it up that easy. Don't be selfish, pal. Won't you please cooperate with us? Selfish? If you ain't gonna share no info with me, then I'm gonna get it from elsewhere. I wonder how the translators decided on the names for everybody. Wait a minute, pal. If I wait, are you gonna give me what I want? If not, adios, amigos. She won't budge. We're at a stalemate here. A stalemate? I wonder about that. Oh, that's right! Oh my goodness, I totally forgot about this part. What do you mean, sir? As you know, chess is one of my hobbies. How does one go on the offensive against a defensive opponent? There are many tactics available on the chessboard. Really? I don't know much about chess. I prefer checkers. Even if it appears to be a flawless defense, there's always an opening. Observe as I break down her defense with my words. In order to get her to talk, I'll need to use the right strategy. Using the image of a chess game, I need to stay on one step ahead of my opponent. There we go. Now then, let's analyze the situation. Till you give me some info, my trap's sealed shut. She has her guard up, so this is her defensive strategy. If I waste too much time, she may grow impatient. I need to pay attention to the time limit. I don't remember whether it's real time or game time. I must not be careless with my words. When my opponent becomes agitated or aggressive, told you I ain't talking, you're stubborn as a mule. For example, during times like this, I should calmly wait and see how things play out. The moment my opponent shows an opening, I'll be able to strike. First, I should ask about her identity. Now, let us begin. Okay, I remember this being a thing, but I don't remember... First, could you tell me your occupation? And it is real time, so I cannot waste time here. Also, I have a pause button if I need it. I will try not to cheat. First, could you tell me your occupation? No way! If I told you, then you might get the wrong idea. The wrong idea. In other words, it's a job that you cannot tell others about. I never said that! I ain't some kind of suspicious person! Wait to see. I'm just your run-of-the-mill model citizen. Please excuse my rudeness, I do not mean to offend you. I may not know the details of your job, but I'm sure that it is a reputable one. Well, you might be giving me too much credit there. I ain't even done any major articles yet. I heard you mention articles just now. Does your job involve writing articles by any chance? Dang nabbit! That's right. I'm an investigative reporter. A bona fide up-and-coming news journalist. I see. A reporter. She may already have some information about the case. This will be my next line of questioning. Okay, the time resets after each chess piece is defeated. This is where the real battle begins. I'll need to draw out even more information from her. Okay, did you witness the incident? Were you present at the time the incident occurred? Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, how about some of that info you promised me? No, ladies first, I insist. I told you my trap's sealed shut. You ain't getting my info that easily. Take it or I'll arrest you. Is that what that said? This is my livelihood here. Please, I'm begging you. If you stick your head into deep, you may be putting yourself in danger. I'm a pro after all. A few gunshots don't scare me. Gunshots. Plural. I'll admit you're dedicated to your job. However, you still have much to learn. The fact that you heard gunshots clearly means that you were present during the incident. You must have seen something. Busted again. Okay, so I guess the pieces that are like more than just pawns have more hits to them, I guess. I just happened to be here covering the speech, and that's when it all went south. That's all, I swear. I ain't saying another word. So she was here to write an article about the speech. She should still have the material she got for her article. This could be used for a clue. Ah, yes. She might have recorded something. You said that you are a reporter. To come here to gather news material? If you want to know that bad, give me some info first. You first. Show me what you've gathered. Honest to Betsy, I don't know what you're talking about. Try using that clue. Oh, so if I asked this first, I would be lost here, I guess. So it's good. I went in the correct order. Oh, and now I don't have a pawn. I have a bigger piece. Are you telling me that you came here to gather material and you left empty-handed? You should still have the materials that you collected with you. That's... Darn tootin', I'm a pro. I collect info with my own 2 feet. That's why I ain't giving it up without a fight. As the prosecutor in charge of this case, I am making a serious plea for your cooperation. Don't you mess with me. I ain't handing it over, and that's final. Please understand where I'm coming from, Mr. Prosecutor. Being a reporter is a tough job, isn't it? So you're finally getting it. How has your job performance been? Oh, well, I'm always trying to be the best reporter I can be. And this here tape recorder, there it is. I was carried by my side. Let me listen to that tape. I see. You're trying to be the best reporter that you can be. Then it would be unnatural for you to not notice... Then it would be unnatural for you to not have collected any news materials. You recorded it on your tape recorder, didn't you? The information regarding this case. Doggone it! There goes my exclusive scoop. That's right. I have it in my tape recorder. All the information I recorded for my article is right here. Checkmate. I wonder if that heals any... I guess it doesn't. I don't know. That's amazing, Mr. Prosecutor. I started with her not having a southern accent, but with her turn of speech, it's just going into that. Before I knew it, you done had me chattering like a chipmunk. Let me hear what you had on the tape recorder. Seriously, why not just have Lotta? My goodness. If I listen to the tape, I should be able to determine the exact number of gunshots. Fine, but I won't let you have it for free. I've been my mentor. You're the only person to push me this far. Ah, there it is. Lotta is her mentor. It has to be. In other words, you're gonna be my second mentor. Yep, that's how it's gonna be. I see. It's kind of like a second home, sir. And I got one more request. A 24-hour exclusive interview. Please, Mr. Prosecutor. This is my first and final request as your apprentice. If this is difficult to accept, but unless I agree to it, I won't be able to listen to that tape. 24 hours is out of the question, but I will grant you an interview after we solve the case. What about being my second mentor? Also out of the question. Aww. Don't be so ornery. Well, I guess you take what you get. It's all for the sake of my news scoop. Time to get the ball rolling. Let's begin our exclusive coverage. Then, Miss Swift, please begin to play back the tape recorder for me. My dear friends, there is a reason for my visit. A few days ago, a smuggling ring that has long plagued my nation was exposed and crushed. I see. This is what the president's speech. Or this was the president's speech. Blah, blah, blah. The president passionately addressed the crowd. Oh, that's her narrating it. He's deflating the rumors flying around about the recent decline of his approval ratings. This is my own commentary. I tried to create the feeling of actually being there. According to the schedule, there's a meeting after this. You seem quite pleased that the Yatagarasu incident had been resolved. Well, of course. It's a great honor for us as well. Oh, that was the president. Whose voice is this? Those are from the folks standing in front of me. I reckon it was 2 older men. And they kept on whispering to each other. Where have I heard this voice before? Oh, the gunshot's coming up. The president raises his fist in the air. The atmosphere is boiling to a fever pitch. However, the battle is still not over. I declare, here and now, the hammer of justice shall be brought down upon all evil. What in tarnation? Whoa, 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 whoa! 2. There are 2 gunshots. It seems that 2 shots were fired. Okay, so we got this. Oh, shrill old man and another old man. According to the schedule, there's a meeting after this. You seem quite pleased that the Yatagarasu incident has been resolved. Bang bang. And what do you reckon? It's quite simple, really. Using the bullet's trajectory, we can deduce its flight path. 2 shots were fired. 1 bullet hit the president. That means the other shots left a hole in the flag and punctured the balloon. Oh, that's an interesting trajectory. Do you understand now? The location of the perpetrator who fired the gun? But that means he shot into the crowd. Because if he was, like, here, he shot the president and he shot this way. Unless it's saying... But no, because that's together. So he had to have been here. Like, behind the balloon. The bullet that struck both the flag and the balloon was fired from here. Unless it's saying that it was fired from the crowd. Like, here. I guess I was picturing it off stage, but... Like, if we... go like this and this. It's not going to let me hit off of the screen. So it had to come from here.
Take that!
By connecting the bullet marks from the flag and the balloon, we learn the bullet's trajectory. It's likely that the bullet was fired from the left side of the audience area. This is what I'd expect from Mr. Edgeworth. Judging on the bullet holes, the shooter probably stood on the left side of the audience area. Okay. Detective Gumshoe, I would like to investigate to the left side of the audience area. Yes, sir! Oh, wait, you mean we have to move all these people? Yes, there's no time. We could be losing vital evidence for every second we let slip by. We must hurry. Yes, sir! Mentor number 2! Hey, mentor number 2! Miss Swift, I assume you are addressing me. Of course, mentor number 2. This is my time to shine. I'm an expert at crowd dispersal. Light the torches, release the hounds, and run them down! I appreciate your help, but please do not use those methods. Also, please stop addressing me as your mentor. I never agreed to that position. I hear ya. I'll try to keep that in mind, Mr. Prosecutor. Move it or lose it, people. Mr. Edgeworth, we're ready to begin the investigation, sir. Miss Swift here was all over the crowd helping us round him up, sir. Heh, this ain't nothing compared to my first mentor's mob wrangling skills. She seems to be used to this sort of thing. However, Miss Swift, all that running around seems to have caused her clothes to be covered with mud. I'll take care of the cleaning bill if you'd like. Eh? Oh, you're talking about my parka? Don't you worry your fancy little head about it. It's reversible, so I can just flip around later and it's good and new. That's all too much for mud stains, though. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, let's restart the investigation, sir. The crowd has made a mess of the crime scene. Some traces of the criminal are still left behind. Okay, there's a van here. That seems... Oh, I guess it's just a news van. Still, it seems to be, like, in the exact location. I was going to look at this flag on the ground. But it doesn't seem to be letting me. What about the trash can? Is there anything in the trash can? What? Really? Oh, there you go. Okay. Y'all need to go through the garbage? You prosecutors got a tough job. Detective Gumshoe. Right away, sir! So it's the detective's job to go through the trash. Prosecutors don't want to dirty their hands. Let's see. I hope we find something good. The detective seems to be a little too eager about searching through the trash. This is a winning popsicle stick! Detective! Sorry, sir. Oh, let's see. Something related to the case. Look what I found, sir! Yes, good work. Let's have a closer look. I need to view this object from various angles to uncover the truth hidden within. Yes, sir. Just give me the word, and I will spin the evidence round and round. No. So this whole time, like, it's like Gumshoe holding the evidence in his hand and bringing it up forward and back to Edgeworth's face. That's an interesting picture. Alright. I want to try to open it. It's weird that the sound keeps slowing down sometimes. It's a document of some sort. Let's see. Oh, let's see. President's security detail. These are the plans for the President's security, sir. Okay. It depicts the security layout. Leader, Rook, Lieutenant Knightley. Rook takes Knightley's place. Pay extra attention to the lake area. In the case of an emergency, Knightley will lead the President inside the plane. A terrorist in the audience? We can't be certain there isn't one. Oh, okay, so this wasn't written by the perpetrator, this was copied by the perpetrator. The bodyguards' names are written in here, too. Rook and Knightley. Bodyguards are not from Seems the president... Oh, it seems the president hired a local security firm. Why didn't he use the police force of Zhengfa? You want to know the reason? There's another big scoop. Do you know something about it? I was just at Zhengfa Embassy the other day, fixing to get me some news material. That's when I heard. Sounds like the president's got plenty of enemies. He also don't get along too well with the top brass of the Zhengfa police. I see. He doesn't even trust the people of his own country. Well, that's not good. This could be related to the assassination attempt. Without a doubt. But why would this document be in the bag? It is strange indeed. It concerns the safety of the president. Normally, it would be under tight security. This bag, there's something else in it, sir. Oh. This is... It's a gun, sir! Mr. Edgeworth, could this bag have belonged to the... Indeed, it's possible that the assassin may have thrown it away. It's a revolver. Something like this to appear in a place like this. Is this the work of a professional assassin? He must have used that document to carry out the crime, sir. This revolver. Take a closer look at it. Just don't touch it too much, because you need, like, fingerprints. Fingerprints? It wouldn't be that easy. This would be the grip. I've held the grip of several guns in the past, but it's never been a very pleasant feeling. Oh, how many are left in the case? This gun fired 2 bullets. That matches the number of gunshots heard. It must be that murder weapon, sir. Well, slow down, dude. The guy isn't dead yet. This is a laser pointer. It's an implement you attach to a gun to help you aim a laser, sir. Aim it with a laser. Just press here and... Fire in a red laser, sir. The assassin used this laser pointer to target the president. And why didn't anyone see it? This bag has provided us with lots of useful evidence. Dumpster diving really paid off, sir. Good work, Detective. I have one more request. Please tell the forensics team to check the gun in the bag for fingerprints. Yes, sir! If we can obtain fingerprints, it would be a huge breakthrough in our investigation. Got the results back, sir! What, already? That was fast. Of course! Made them double time it. Unfortunately, we couldn't find any fingerprints, sir. Are you certain you did a thorough search? Of course! We combed every inch. We even took the bullets out and examined them, sir. As expected, it won't be easy. Okay. It's a news van in the local media. The tires are stuck in the mud. That reminds me of the time when I helped push your car out of the mud, sir. You just drove off and left me behind. I was totally bummed out. Now that he mentions it, I do seem to recall something like that happening. 15 minutes later, you did a U-turn and came back to pick me up. As expected of Mr. Edgeworth. I knew that you wouldn't forget about me, sir. 15 minutes? Yes, of course not, except for those 15 minutes, of course. Oh, Prosecutor Payne. This is a terrible incident indeed, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, wait, is he the shrill old man? Who is this man again? I, Winston Payne, am willing to assist as prosecutor. He's a prosecutor? Why did you come here today? I accompanied the chief prosecutor. His voice sounds like the one that I heard on the tape earlier. He is. Was he one of the men standing in front of Miss Swift? And where's the chief now? Chief is a busy man. He had special permission to leave the premises. The chief called me here, and then left by himself. That's really suspicious. I'm not completely satisfied with this. Yo, what do you have to say? Did you come here to cover the welcoming event? You betcha! I wouldn't have missed it for the world. What time did the event start? Started after the rain stopped pouring. It'd been raining all morning long. The president's plane got here at 1:45 p.m. Then, the president began his speech around 2 p.m. When did the shooting occur? I reckon it happened sometime around 2:20 p.m. So it occurred about 20 minutes after the speech began. Yep! I was right there, and the sound of gunshots ripped through the air. And the poor old president collapsed on stage. And that's what went down. On March 25th, 2:25 p.m. at Gord Lake Park. What was that all of a sudden? Oh, that? I was just recording some notes. It's for my report. If I think of something good, I'll take note of it right away. It ain't often you get a chance to cover a presidential assassination. Gotta make it dramatic and heart-wrenching. I'm gonna write me an action-packed article. Did the president actually collapse on stage? Bodyguards escorted him onto the plane, sir. Y'all have to pardon my embellishments. Sometimes I get a little carried away. It seems that it would be best if I took this woman's testimony with a grain of salt. She has fun music to her. Well now, I guess you could call me a reporter. It sure sounds different when somebody else calls you that. Reporter Nicole Swift. Yep, it's good, got a nice ring to it. Just to be clear, you are an actual reporter, correct? In training. Then how many articles have you written so far? Oh, you mean like actual published works? None at the moment. Yes, you still call yourself a reporter. Well, this case is gonna put me in the spotlight. I've done captured the entire speech perfectly. No bloopers at all. With this mic and this type recorder, I'm gonna be a shining star in the broadcast world, just like my mentor. So, Mr. Prosecutor, how do you know my mentor? You're the one who brought up the subject. I may or may not have said something like that. As a reporter, you should take responsibility for your words. But my mentor always tells me, a reporter should always leak information freely. What a public nuisance. She told me that when she gave me this here tape recorder, she told me that when she gave me this here tape recorder, get out there and record all the scandalous scoops you can get. So you create smoke where there's no fire. I'm amazed you call yourself a reporter. I don't start the fires. I just fan out the smoke. As far and wide as I can. Isn't that what I just said? Alright. Let's see if logic will do me any good. I keep trying to touch screen my keyboard. Because this is a fan translation, I wonder if it's going to be as apparent. This is talking about targeting. This is talking about aiming. But this is the gun and this is the gun. I don't know really what I'm going to logic together about the gun. I feel like this is stupid. Yeah, no, that's stupid. Can see a clear connection between those two pieces of information. That's fair. Whoops. Well, that's fine too. I was going to see if I could see anything else. Yeah, no, I'm going to have to go with logic. Let's do these two after all. Let's talk about the gun. Okay, the last thing was the fact that this is prohibited in the country and it being a premeditated crime. But I don't know how those two things connect. Yeah, okay. So I'm at a loss here. I can talk to this guy. You're with the television crew, are you not? Oh, that's right. But then you must have recorded the speech. I'd like to see the footage. Yeah, about that. That won't be difficult. What was that, pal? It's your duty as assistant to cooperate with the investigation. After the incident, the guests knocked over the TV camera in the panic, and the footage was lost. If there was any footage left, it could have been vital evidence. Yeah, it's too bad, sir. Who is laughing at me? What was that? Looks like you're in a jam, Mr. Edgeworth. That voice. Oh! Kay, I didn't expect to see you so soon. Kay. Long time no see, Mr. Edgeworth, the hero of justice. Kay Faraday is here to save the day. Hero, I guess she wouldn't refer to herself as a heroine. So, have you given us on this great thief business yet? Nope, haven't stopped. I'm just on vacation. I'm still training to become the second Yatagarasu soon. About 2 weeks ago, this girl became involved in one of my cases. Mysterious phantom thief, the Yatagarasu. Case of a gentleman thief who steals the truth for the sake of justice. This girl is the successor to that great thief. If you need to pick a locker and tie a rope, leave it to me. But since I'm still in training, I haven't actually stolen anything yet. Kay, what are you doing here? Isn't it obvious? I wanted to join in the festivities. She does seem to have a fondness for these kinds of events. Afterwards, I thought I'd come meet up with you guys. Well, we're glad to see you. You look like you've been doing well, pal. It's been a while, Gummy. I'm glad you're well, too. Kay, you said earlier that you could help me out. Please don't be surprised, Mr. Edgeworth. I took a photo that captured the exact moment of the crime. I see. Could you show it to us at once? The same as usual, I see. Can't you act even a little surprised? Yeah, that prosecutor's always in a sour mood. He even got annoyed when I called him my second mentor. Oh, by the way, I'm Nicole Swift, up-and-coming investigative reporter. Nice to meet you. Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth's really... Enough idle chatter. Can you please just show us the photo? Fine. Here. Ah, there's the laser pointer. What is going on with Knightley? Does he have a broken neck or something? This is the photo I took right at the moment of the gunshot. It was awful. Everyone in the audience was running in panic. This photo depicts the president and his two bodyguards. Judging from the names written on the security plan, these two must be Rook and Knightley. What is this? Thank you, Kay. This will be a very important clue. Oh, you got that sharp look in your eyes. Did you find something, Mr. Prosecutor? In this photo, there's a contradiction. This photo? I don't see nothing. If you don't understand, then I'll show you. The scene captured in the photo and the evidence I have on hand. By comparing the two, I'll find the contradiction. It's time for my detective skills to come into play. First, I'll have to find the spot which holds the contradiction. Okay, I'm assuming it means this laser pointer. Ah! I haven't pressed anything yet. I didn't do anything yet. Good gracious. And I present the evidence that contradicts the spot. It doesn't contradict it. It's more... It just says that it wasn't this time of crime. Still don't see. It's definitely... no. Rook and Knightley. Oh, is it the newspaper article? Sorry, I wasn't following their logic. I guess that's... okay, I guess I first have to prove that he doesn't have that spot on his head. Swift, this newspaper contains a photograph of the president. I'd like you to compare it to the photo Kate took at the scene. What do you mean? Oh! That's right. There's something on the president's forehead that wasn't there before. Is that a mole? Certainly looks like a red mole. There we go. That's the missing piece of logic. Thank you, Kay. It's foolish. It's hard to believe that a mole would pop up from thin air like that. Maybe a bug bit us, sir. That all? I thought you were onto something. Turns out it's just an itty-bitty bug bite. You were talking with such a serious look on your face. I was getting all excited. The way to the truth always begins with a small contradiction. Ooh, that's a great way of putting it. I'll be using that for my article. It's like it can't catch up with itself, the music, whenever it's doing other things. Okay. So now... that's my 2. I've solved the mystery of the red mole. Eh? You mean it's not a bug bite, sir? It's nothing like a bug bite or an itchy rash. This is the light from a laser pointer. You mean the gun was aimed at the president's forehead? And right after that, the second gunshot was heard. The second one? Oh, because they're on alert right now in the picture. The first gunshot has already gone. It's certainly more than just an itch, sir. Indeed. I'm concerned for the president's well-being. It's becoming more and more likely that this gun was the weapon used in the attack. But why did the criminal use a laser pointer, sir? That's right! They would have had a beam of light shining from their hands. Pew, 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 pew! Way too conspicuous. And if you follow the path of the laser, you would find out who fired the shot. That's not good at all. Oh yeah! I also took some other photos. Maybe the light from the laser pointer was captured on those. It's a long shot, but there may be a chance. Okay, could you show us those photos? Coming right up! Firstly, the photo from before the incident. I see a laser. Her face is taking up most of the frame. I wanted to get a two-shot of me and the president. This was taken a little before the gunshots. And here's the one I showed you before. This is right after the first gunshot. And immediately after that, the second gunshot rang out. And then... What's this? You can't really see much in this photo. I see the guy with the jacket, though. That was holding the laser before. After that last photo, one of the running guests knocked me down. It looks like the shutter clicked just and then. It doesn't look too helpful, pal. Well, those are all the photos I took. I'd like to examine these with more detail.
Take that!
I found it. What? Look just in front of the person in the red hood. Ah, there! Yes, that was probably the light from the laser pointer. Then the red hooded person would be the assassin. We did it! It's all thanks to me, right? Right. As expected, the great thief has stolen the truth. Perhaps the criminal can also be seen in the other photos. Let me examine these photos one more time. You can't investigate the moment of the incident. You have to investigate the moment after the incident. And there's the red-hooded assassin.
Take that!
There! The red-hooded assassin. Looks like they're escaping in the panic, sir. We can see the direction they ran in. The Samurai Dog Manor! Right. The assassin escaped toward the right side of the audience area. Detective Gumshoe. Got it, sir. We'll investigate the right side of the audience area. Counting on you. Alright, clear out. The red-hooded assassin. Since the park was sealed off, there's nowhere they could have run to. If we follow their trail, we can definitely catch them. They're probably not going to be wearing the red hood anymore. Now then, let's continue with the investigation. We'll definitely find some traces of the assassin. I see an umbrella. Is that important? No? No? A hat? Target practice? The flag from the shooting booth is lying on the ground. The crowd probably knocked it over. Judging from all the footprints and the flag, there must have been quite a panic. You know where you can buy these flags, sir? Why do you want to know that? Are you going to write Gumshoe on the flag and carry it around with you? How did you know, sir? Attempt to help, Mr. Oh, don't tell me, Mr. Edgeworth. Did you just read my mind, sir? I meant it as a joke, though, for him to actually have thought that. There are toy rifles lined up neatly on the top counter. Oh, it's a shooting booth. Shooting booth, sir. I hate to brag, but I'm actually pretty good at these. I thought you said that you weren't good with guns. It's not that I'm not good with them, I just don't like guns. Normally, that's what you would call not being good with guns. Alright, we got a lamp knocked over. We got a big puddle on the ground. Oh, there's no villagers here. I can see the sky reflected in this puddle. After the rain stopped. Is that a haiku, sir? I'm quite a poet, Mr. Edgeworth. That was not my intention. Well then, how would you describe it? How's this, sir? The rain leaves behind a puddle. Just like Mr. Edgeworth's logic. Leaves me in a muddle. Not bad for a poet. Not good for a detective. Wait, what's that? Oh, it's the Red Hood. There's something red down there. Detective Gumshoe, please check underneath the food stall. The Someone's stuck down there. Let's see. It's a red raincoat. Could this be? The assassins! It appears that he got rid of the raincoat before he ran away. I also noticed this. What's this? This is... It's a red button, sir. Could this be? Okay, maybe it came from the... This could be related to the person with the red hood. See how the sleeve is kind of torn here? Could have something to do with that. Yeah, the sleeve. It's inside out, and it's also missing a button. There you go. I don't know why that requires logic, but why not a deduction or something? I don't understand. The left sleeve. There doesn't appear to be anything out of place. It's all turned inside out, and the button is still tightly in place. Even though it was thrown away, it looks a bit too clean. Indeed. Just checking. Still checking. Is it a shoe? Alright, let's do the logic. Buttons. Button. Who's got the button? Now, see, that should have been the first logic loop to do, is something to do with a button. That's like the easiest thing ever. It looks like the fallen button came from the raincoat. It probably fell off when the assassin took off the raincoat. If you look closely, you can see that the right sleeve is inside out, sir. It appears they took it off in a hurry. The button was probably torn off. After shooting the president, the assassin disposed of the gun in the bag in the garbage bin. Then, during the panic, they moved from the left to the right side of the audience area. The bullet's trajectory led us to suspect someone who was on the left side of the audience area. The assassin then took off the raincoat and hid it under the stand. The assassin was in a hurry to remove the raincoat. That's why there are signs that the right sleeve was hastily removed. Also explains why the button was torn off. If that's the case, why is the left sleeve not in the same state? And that sleeve isn't inside out. On the contrary, the button is still tightly fixed. What do you mean, sir? To find the answer, we must examine this raincoat in detail. The right sleeve is turned inside out. And you can see where the button's been torn off. Indeed, this raincoat must have been removed in a hurry. It's a very flat raincoat. This raincoat is a brilliant bright red. Just looking at it makes me want to charge at it. Like in a bullfight. Yeah! My heart is always fired up like a bull. So you're just simple-minded. I don't really know what it wants me to find here. I'd like to investigate the inside of this raincoat. Detective Gumshoe. Got it! Ooh, what's that? This is a bloodstain. Judging by the location, it's most likely the assassin's own blood. So we're looking for someone who's injured, sir. Not just any injury, Detective. An injury on their left arm. What do you mean, sir? Oh, it was hastily removed. But not on the left arm because the left arm wasn't in the sleeve. I get it. The criminal was in a hurry to take off their coat. That's why the right sleeve is inside out. On the other hand, the left sleeve remained unchanged. How did this difference arise? Quite simply, the assassin could not get his arm through the left sleeve. If you think of it like that, it all starts to add up. Furthermore, bloodstain was found on the left side of the raincoat. I see. He couldn't get his injured arm to fit through the sleeve. Yes, indeed. I said the possibility is quite high. So we are looking for somebody with an injured left arm. That's really narrows it down. It's all coming together. Yay! Health back. Detective Gumshoe, I want you to pull our suspect out of the crowd. Roger that, sir. Someone with an injured left arm, right? You must have a good head on your shoulders if you did see through if you did see through at me, Mr. Prosecutor. I don't know what that means. Find the assassin with only that much evidence shouldn't be a problem at all. Oh, you should be okay since you saw through me. I see. That's our Edgeworth. If everyone in the park sealed in, the assassin should still be in the crowd. I'm counting on you, Detective Gumshoe. Oh, I thought there was going to be like a to be continued thing for a second there. Detective? Did you find anyone? Mr. Edgeworth, found a suspicious person in that condition, sir. That's gotta be the assassin! Okay, we haven't proven that this person is the assassin yet. For now, this is just a person of interest. Don't jump to conclusions. Got it! I'll control myself. There's no doubt that this is the guy who targeted the president, sir. It takes a daring person to target someone's life in front of an audience. Detective, bring him here. Courteously. Yes, sir. Hey, you guys, bring him here. Oh. Are you losing your touch, friend? To leave such a blunder. And to also miss. Aren't you supposed to be a professional? And really, 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 really good at what you do. Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, you remember Shelley the Killer. An assassin. He's not carrying an umbrella. His left arm is bandaged. You there! State your name! My name is John Doe. Did I have like a whispery voice for him? I don't remember. John Doe. That's an unusual name. That is correct. This man I've never seen him somewhere before. What about the shells on you, dude? You are giving away your symbol. Prosecutor Edgeworth. You know my name. Yes, I've been observing your investigation. May I ask why you have called me here? You're searching for the assassin who attempted to murder the president. Do you recognize this red raincoat? I'm terribly sorry, but I'm afraid I do not. I believe that this raincoat belongs to the assassin. Oh my, that is terrible indeed. This person should also have a severe injury on the left side of their body, precisely like yours. I have no relation to this. A stare down! Mono a mono! It's like they're firing laser beams out of their eyes. So, what happens next? Obviously a confrontation, pal. A battle of wits between two gentlemen. Should I hear his explanation? Yeah, why not? A witness might lie or misunderstand. If you find a contradiction in their statement, you present evidence, pal. Press the R button, blah, blah, blah. I don't actually have those buttons. And if you don't find a contradiction, what do you do then? Those times you press the witness for more details. Alright. Let's do it. Go, Mr. Prosecutor, you're America's best. Oh. See, we're in America again. She just won't quit. Alright, Mr. Doe. I understand the person who is suspicious. However, that does not mean that he was injured. I don't suppose you have proof. Clearly my left arm is injured, but I can still use my right. When it was raining, I used the umbrella. An umbrella. No need for a raincoat. You're not carrying an umbrella. You didn't wear a raincoat. That's your claim? Yes. Not everyone uses a raincoat for protection against the rain. I am an umbrella person, after all. I'm definitely a raincoat person. Umbrellas will hinder your movement. Well, I don't use raincoats or umbrellas. Come rain or snow, all I need is my trusty parka. This wasn't what I wanted to talk about. I hope you understand I'm not the assassin. Unfortunately, leaving a testimony unexamined goes against my principles. How troublesome. I am but a simple ice cream salesman. Oops. Please excuse me. In the panic earlier, my wound seems to have reopened. There's no mistaking that the owner of this raincoat is the assassin. Furthermore, the owner has an injured left arm. Mr. Doe, I shall reveal your true colors for all to see. I do have proof, but let's see what happens when I press this. The music is epic, unless it's being all slow again. What if I have evidence to prove that he was injured? You certainly do seem confident. I expect no less of you, Mr. Wesker. You know of me. It's because you're famous, sir. Maybe he read about you in the newspaper. I have been observing your investigation. This man is clearly suspicious. If I expose his lies, I should be able to uncover the assassin's true identity. Yeah, using your right arm has nothing to do with it.
Objection!
Mr. Doe, you seem to be a very cautious person. However, today seems to be different, because you left this behind. You must be mistaken. This is not the one. Or perhaps you have evidence that proves otherwise. Again, the injured left arm. We're circling the same point here. We're doing. It's. Yeah. Mr. Doe, is your injury alright? The wound seems to have opened. Indeed, yes. Yes, I'm sure it is. You have my deepest sympathies. After all, you would have escaped had your wounds not opened up. There is no mistaking that the one who wore this raincoat was injured. And I can prove that person was you. This. The raincoat itself. Ha! This ice cream is sweating like the walkie-talkie did. On the inside of this raincoat, there's a small blood stain. It is the blood of the assassin. That went back down pleasantly. Attacking the president, serious crime, pal. You'll cause an international incident. No matter how long you keep silent, your true nature will soon come to light. The blood test will settle this. The blood from the raincoat and the blood from your bandaged arm. If all the evidence I need, why don't you just admit it? You're the assassin who attacked the president. You're not the assassin. You don't know when to give up. If this is a game of chess, you would have been checkmated a long time ago. Admit your defeat gracefully. He seems completely unfazed. I suppose I have no choice. I'll admit it. Indeed, the raincoat is mine. He confessed, sir! Arrest him! Arrest him! However, that does not mean I shot the president. What's that, pal? Prosecutor Edgeworth. All you have proven is that I wore the raincoat. What sort of crime is that? I'm no assassin. I'm just a simple ice cream salesman. All I did was put on that red raincoat and listen to the president's speech. It surprised me to see the bodyguards take action just before the gunshot rang out. Everyone in the audience immediately tried to escape, creating a state of panic. Before the gunshots rang out? Satisfied this time. His story's getting fishier by the minute. He's really suspicious. Before? Glaring at me won't help. We've got evidence. Here, look at this guy in the red raincoat. That's gotta be the assassin. I see. That is certainly not me. What? Prosecutor Edgeworth, please consider this carefully. Was I really the only one who wore the red raincoat? Whether he was or not, the person in the photo can only be Mr. Doe. But why? This man's self-confidence and intensity. So the bodyguards reacted before the gunshot went off. Yes, the bodyguards moved first. The one on the left side of the stage in particular. We saw it all quite clearly. The names are written on the names are written on the upper left of the security plan. The bodyguard on the left side would be Mr. Rook. That is correct, Mr. Ethan Rook. Perhaps you noticed the light from the laser point. That man is not there. From their actions, I don't believe that the bodyguards were amateurs. This man isn't an ordinary detective. Please add that statement to your testimony. As you wish. Okay, so why does he know his full name? And also, he took his place. So is this like more information than he should know?
Objection!
I think this is more information than he should know. It seems you aren't just a simple ice cream salesman after all. You think too highly of me, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Why would a simple ice cream salesman know the name of the president's bodyguard? The name of the bodyguard. Surely you jest. Didn't you say their names just a moment ago? Mr. Knightley and Mr. Rock.
Objection!
This is a diagram of the security plans. We learned their names from this. However, please look. Only their surnames are written here. You distinctly said Ethan Rook. How did you know his full name? You did not. Is he your client? Is that why he moved first? Because he knew it was happening? That's pretty weird, sir. Why do you know his name? Explain yourself. It was merely a slip of the tongue. It's true, this guy's the assassin. It can't be a slip of the... You can't just say it's a slip of the tongue. You knew his name. What? What? He and I have a bit of a connection. He is a name that I can never forget. Mr. Edgeworth, he's just telling a big fat lie. This is not a lie. I am just a simple ice cream salesman. And an apprentice of Ethan Brooks.
Objection!
In that case, let's just ask Rook himself about this. Whether or not he's acquainted with this dubious ice cream salesman. As you wish. However, it's quite nice for the business security after all. Besides, you can find out what's acquaintance with Mr. Brooks. Does that prove that I fired them?
Objection!
If you aren't the assassin, then why did you remove your raincoat? It stopped. I went to air out. Just can't see the corner. He's a slippery one. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you doing? Hurry up and arrest him! That man's so suspicious, I'd even arrest him myself. Arrest him without evidence? How could I do such a thing? Come on, Mr. Edgeworth, can't you do something? Breaking news, the criminal is on the verge of escaping the prosecutor. Oh, brother. Oh dear, they're already treating me like a criminal. I understand. Since I've been suspected this far, it seems I will have to tell the truth. The truth? What is he up to? I saw another person wearing a red hood. What? Surely that was the person who was in the photo. I first noticed him right before the speech when it was still raining. He caught my eye because his raincoat was the same color as mine. In his hand I saw the laser pointer with the light beam tracking the president. It can't be. There was another person wearing a red hood. I knew that if I wore a red raincoat, I would be mistaken for the assassin. That's why I took off.
Objection!
You saw an assassin wearing the same colored hood as yours. Wouldn't that be a nice coincidence? That's what I expected you to do. Prosecutor. I only arrived after the incident. Not you, Mr. Edgeworth. Am I gonna have to interrogate Payne? That's Prosecutor over there. Ah! Me? Yes, you should be visible in that photo. I thought that, our reporter friend was on the right side of the audience. So... she shouldn't have been able to hear them talking if she was on the right side of the audience. Because they're on the left side. I'm very confused. I don't know whether that's a contradiction that's actually important or whether that was just the game messing up. Can't be sure. Here, right in front of the hood. That's me, all right. What's your point? What's with this man? What is this man driving at? I've observed your investigation this entire time, Mr. Edgeworth. I've noticed something strange. Something strange. As soon as you said this contradiction. Contradiction. In this photo of people who can be seen are the Chief, Mr. Payne, and the assassin. I don't see anything strange. Please think back carefully about the circumstances during the President's speech. I believe you are holding the evidence that contradicts this photo. Is it the tape recorder?
Take that!
Oh, okay, it's not a mistake. It can't be. There is a contradiction between the photo and the tape. It seems you've noticed. Mr. Edgeworth, what's going on? There's a person missing from this photograph. Huh? Who is it? Yes, it's rather strange. Someone who should be there, but is not. The person who should be in this photo is...
Take that!
Huh? Miss Swift? Why would you say that? Mr. Payne's voice was recorded on Miss Swift's tape. He was whispering quietly with the Chief Prosecutor. Those from the folks standing in front of me, I reckon the two old men, they kept on whispering to each other. It seems Miss Swift was near Mr. Payne when she recorded the speech. But she isn't anywhere in this photo. That is correct. Now, Mr. Prosecutor, who is the one you should be pursuing? Nicole Swift, would you mind giving us your testimony? Come on, it feels weird when you talk all formal like that. It's fine, I ain't got nothing to hide. It ain't like I stayed in one spot while I was recording. I was moving around the audience area, shuffling here and there. I reckon this picture must have been snapped at a different time to my tape recording. So quit making that scary face, it ain't what you think. So she was moving around. Miss Swift's tape recorded a conversation between my colleagues, Mr. Payne and the Chief Prosecutor. Why would Nicole be lying? That would mean... I mean Nicole Swift's the assassin, pal. Y'all gotta be kidding me. I ain't done nothing like that. Be that as it may, however, there's a contradiction in your testimony. Huh? I don't reckon so. No, sir. It appears I must reveal this contradiction with evidence. So she's saying... she moved around. moving around while you were recording. Why were you doing that? Uh-huh. What do you mean, why? Surely when recording a speech, it is best to remain still. Well, you know that importance of covering a story from every angle. I wanted to convey the live and breathing event in print. Yes, sirree, you betcha. If you are moving around, the town should take anything coherent. Well, it's like I done said.
Hold it!
Here and there. Could you be more specific, such as the side you were on? When I say here and there, it means just that. It was all about the place. You couldn't swing a dead cat in that crowd. You expect me to remember where it was? Could you at least remember if it was the left or right side? Left, I reckon. The person in the photo is also on the left side. It's just a coincidence.
Hold it!
So you're saying it's logical that you can't be seen in the photo? Yep. I was near that prosecutor when his voice got recorded. But I reckon this picture must have been taken while I was far away. No doubt about it. Ain't nothing wrong here, as far as I can see. So you're saying that the photo and the recording were taken at different times? Darn tootin'. It ain't about the equipment, it's all about the timing. What if they were both taken at the same time? I can prove that. Try to start with collapse. Is the proof the fact that Mr. Payne is obviously talking to the chief prosecutor in that picture? Yeah, like you can see him. He even has his hand held up, I think, to like whisper. I think that's his hand.
Objection!
Miss Swift, a reporter shouldn't lie. I ain't lying. I'm an honest journalist. Perhaps, but there's no denying that the photo and the recording were taken at the same time. That's so, and what makes you say that? The truth lies in these photos. This photo could only have been taken at the same time as your recording. Oh, wait a second. He raises his fist in the air.
Take that!
Can you see the president with his fist raised in the air? What about it? Miss Swift, might we hear your tape one more time? Nah, you ain't gonna hear a word. Will you entreat me? Would you rather be charged with obstruction of justice and seize it from me? Fine, you win. I'm no match for you, Mr. Prosecutor. The question is, during which part of his speech did the president raise his fist? Wonder what sort of heinous criminal organization there is. I will not allow them to exist. The president raises his fist in the air. The atmosphere is boiling to a fever pitch. Aha! Raises his fist straight from the horse's mouth, sir. This tape was recorded at the moment the president raised his fist overhead. Then that means Nicole not being in this photo is really strange. Oh, but she is in this photo. Right here. The person in the red hood was you, Nicole Swift. Is it a bear trap? Why do you have camping gear as a reporter, by the way? I've been meaning to ask that. You're the real assassin, aren't you, pal? That ain't so. I ain't never worn that red raincoat. This red raincoat in question belongs to... I believe it still belongs to John Doe. But with the blood and everything. What? The raincoat's owner is Mr. Doe, which is an improvement. You were wearing something else. A different raincoat. Oh, the parka is reversible, she said. You mean there were 2 red hoodies, sir? Mr. Toad's last testimony was true. But we didn't find any other red raincoats. Mr. Toad saw was a red hood, not a raincoat. Miss Swift, what was it that you told us earlier about your parka? Oh, you mean when I said I wasn't worried about it getting all dirty? It's reversible, so all I gotta do is turn inside out and... Ah! As I thought. Mr. Edgeworth, the inside of her parka is red! Indeed. And during the incident, she was using that side. What? Hey, pal. What's the big idea? You're wrong. I've been wearing it like this the whole day. Well then, will you allow me to examine your parka? What are you expecting to find? We know it was raining prior to the president's speech. I believe you said earlier, don't use raincoats. All I need is my parka. If you really didn't turn your parka inside out, then the inside should be dry. Hang on a minute. I ain't taking off this heavy backpack and putting it back on again. Sorry, but can't we do this another time? You can fool Mr. Edgeworth with that, pal. Alright then, pal. If you're really wrong, prove it. Shows the inside of your parka. It wasn't me. I ain't no assassin. Miss Swift, if you want me to believe that, then you need to cooperate with us. Will you please tell us why you wore the red side of the parka? I'm sorry, Mr. Prosecutor. I had my reasons, honest. I'll tell you everything. Just quit bullying me. Whose voice was that? Hold on a sec. It's a little too early for the endgame. Oh, hi. Knightley. Hey, you in the fancy suit. Haven't you been jumping the gun ever since your opening move? This man was in Kay's photo. Well, I guess I should introduce myself first. My name is... Dude. Horace Knightley, the President's bodyguard. Second in command of his personal security unit. Ah! Watch it, pal. That's not a toy. Whoa, my bad. She just wants to come out and play. I can't seem to help it. What you have done if you're not a police officer? She's a lady of Shengfa. Only the President's bodyguards are authorized to use it. Anyway, back to business. Wait. So only the bodyguards are supposed to use the guns. I wonder if that has something to do with the gun that we found. I've got some news for you. There's good news and bad news. What did you want to hear first? Which makes no difference to me. As you wish. Sure? Give me the first move. Alright, I got you. I'll start with my pawn. Seems you enjoy chess. Play too, Mr. Fancy Suit. It's Edgeworth, and I do have a fondness for chess. Is that so? Well then. Chessmaster Edgeworth, I'll start with the good news. The President's safe. Not even a scratch on it. Really? That's great, pal. It seems that the young lady was not a murderer after all. Good for you, Nicole. But oh, there. Don't forget, there's still bad news. The President is safe because his bodyguards protected him. Actually, I had nothing to do with it. It was the leader who protected him. At the cost of his own life. That would be the other bodyguard. Rook, was it? Yeah, that's right. Rook died to protect the President. What? Is that so? Rook is dead. What a shame. That means... Nicole... It means that the little lady killed him. My brother in arms. That ain't true! I ain't a murderer. Whoa there, pipe down, Miss Murderer. Jeez. Even if we had to make a sacrifice to protect the king. It's a pretty bad move. That castling. Sacrifices and castles? Let's talk about, sir. They're all chest terms. He sang Rook's life was exchanged for presidents. This guy sure talks funny, sir. Horace Knightley, was it? What do you want? I'd like to examine the victim's body as soon as possible. And if it's possible, I'd like to question the president. Sorry, but I can't let you do that. What? I got another piece of news for you, and this one's doozy. It's another piece of news. From here on out, this investigation will be handled by the Shangfa police. What? What's going on, pal? This case is under our jurisdiction. You have no right to interfere. You're the prosecutor Edgeworth, right? The president knows about you solving the Adagar's case. I'm honored. That's why the chief prosecutor designated you to be in charge of the case. It seems the chief prosecutor made this little appeal to the president. But it looks like you're the wrong guy for the job. I didn't know you'd have this kind of reaction. It's the president's orders. If you oppose, you'll cause an international incident. Capiche? Hey, little lady, get over here. We'll continue your questioning inside the president's plane. No! I didn't do nothing. We now don't be a baby. You scared of little Shangfa justice? Mr. Prosecutor, please! Please help me. Miss Swift. It's clear that Miss Swift was the person in the red hood. However, that doesn't mean that the whole truth has been revealed. I really didn't do it. Please believe me. Is it really alright for it to end this way? All I see is a girl with eyes full of fear, pleading for help. Certainly not someone who's committed a heinous crime. If I stand aside now and do nothing, the truth will be lost in the darkness. Gah! Eh? What? What? I thought it was another to be continued thing. What the? You? Silence. What the is an impolite way to conceal. What is happening? Your neck injury has yet to heal, and you have already forgotten. Not now. It seems you've remembered. Hey, what are you doing? Cut it out, pal. You've got some nerve to do that right in front of a detective and a prosecutor. Stop. Stay out of this. It's out of your league. Mr. Doe, who on earth are you? I'm not really a simple ice cream salesman. Oh, really? Even though you've been claiming that the entire time. He's a professional assassin. His name is Shelley DeKiller. Shelley DeKiller. There's no one in law enforcement who doesn't know the name of DeKiller. An assassin who would carry out any request without fail. He was once involved in a case I handled. It's been a while, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Although I do believe this is our first face-to-face meeting. The real assassin was you all along. That's correct. I received a request from the individual to take the president's life. I should have seen his face before in the case files. Curses. I was careless. I'm glad I knew the knife was on my bench before I entered the park. Even though my calculations were way off. A knife. Not a gun. Now, Mr. Knightley, shall we play that game with this much? Of course, the stakes will be life. What are your demands? I want you to relinquish investigating authority back to Prosecutor Edgeworth. Why? I don't understand. What's happening here? Investigative authority. What are you playing at? I simply want you to allow Edgeworth to continue the investigation. What do you want that? Why do you want that? As an opponent who is connected to me by fate, I would like to discover the truth about his death. When that man died, the investigative authority was transferred to you. I'm simply asking you to apologize, Prosecutor. With your life at stake, this really isn't the time to be stubborn. Why leader of the president's bodyguards. I won't allow it. Oh, I thought you were on the second in command. Now that Rook's gone, I'm in charge. I'm not sure if you're as capable as Rook was. What are you saying? I'm totally the leader now. Very well. In that case, please exercise judgment before the leader. You can lose your life here, previously, or will you allow the investigation to continue? It's using the investigation as an excuse. Why would you go to all that trouble? What is this man thinking? Prosecutor Edgeworth, I trust you have no objections. Let us continue the investigation. Mr. Edgeworth, what should we do, sir? From now, we have no choice but to accept his proposal. Thus we'll be able to investigate. But listen well, Detective. I'll use the investigation to buy us time. Meanwhile, gather up all your men. Surround the President's plane so that he can't escape. Right. Roger that, sir. There it is. Oh, that was a long part. Oh, I was fading there. So that does it for the first part there. I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to save it here. So I think I can save state. Cool. Alright. This is all weird, playing it on this, so stuff to figure out. But, yeah, lots of chess stuff going on right now. Chess-themed stuff. And Logic Chess is going to be interesting. The time limit makes me nervous. But, yeah, we'll see how things go, whether Shelley DeKiller is going to be brought to justice, or whether he will escape once again. Because he is slippery. And also, why is he helping us? I don't understand. And he seems to have a past with Knightley. So, I don't know. Maybe it'll all be revealed at the end of this particular case. Hopefully not everything will jump back and forth like the first one. Well, I guess we'll see coming up. So, I'll see you for part 2. Talk to you guys then.